tensions are once again rising in Zimbabwe as the country moves toward its highly anticipated 2028 general elections. Reports from both local sources and international observers suggest that deep divisions are emerging within the military ranks, raising fears of a possible coup or unconstitutional interference in the electoral process. According to sources within the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, factions have begun to form around differing political allegiances. While a section of the military remains loyal to President Emmerson Mnangagwa and his SANU ruling party, there are growing murmurs of discontent from younger officers and senior commanders who feel sidelined, disillusioned, and increasingly critical of the government's economic mismanagement and alleged human rights abuses. These divisions have been amplified by Zimbabwe's worsening economic crisis, with inflation soaring, unemployment high, and essential services deteriorating. Public frustration has reached a boiling point. Many believe the military may once again play a decisive role in shaping the country's political future, just as it did in 2017, when Robert Mugabe was forced to resign after a military intervention. Rumors of a coup have been circulating widely on social media, fueled by anonymous statements, leaked audio clips, and the unusual movement of military vehicles across key installations in Harare and Bulawayo. Although government officials have dismissed these claims as baseless and the work of foreign agents trying to destabilize Zimbabwe, the lack of transparency and rising tensions have only deepened public anxiety. Opposition parties, including the Citizens Coalition for Change, have expressed grave concern over these developments. Nelson Chamisa, the SANC leader, recently warned that any disruption of democratic processes by the military or ruling elites would plunge Zimbabwe into further chaos and international isolation. He called on regional and international bodies, including the African Union and the Southern African Development Community, to closely monitor the situation and support efforts toward free and fair elections. Civil society groups have also sounded the alarm. The Zimbabwe Human Rights Forum and other watchdog organizations have called for urgent dialogue between the government, the opposition, and military stakeholders to prevent a repeat of the violence that marred previous elections. These groups are demanding assurances that the 2028 polls will be held on time, without military interference, and under international supervision. International partners, including the United Nations and the European Union, have reiterated their calls for political stability in Zimbabwe. In a joint statement issued earlier this week, Western diplomats emphasized the need for the armed forces to remain neutral and respect the will of the people. They also warned of potential sanctions if democratic norms are violated. Meanwhile, ordinary Zimbabweans are caught in the middle. Many remember the trauma of past political upheavals and fear that history may repeat itself. As one resident in Bear told reporters, "We want jobs, peace, and a future for our children, not tanks on the streets and another power struggle." The road to the 2028 elections is becoming increasingly uncertain. With tensions rising, the question remains: will Zimbabwe choose the path of democracy and constitutional order, or will it fall back into the cycle of military intervention and political instability? As of now, no formal declaration has been made by the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. However, analysts caution that the weeks and months ahead could be critical. The situation remains fluid, and all eyes are on Harare. Stay with Zimbabwe Daily News for continued updates on this developing story.